Hello, my name is Sue Howard. I'm a retired pastoral associate from the churches in the city of Rochester, New York. Today I'm going to be offering a reflection on the second Sunday of Lent. These are the readings about the sacrifice of Abraham and Isaac and the transfiguration of Jesus. Underpinning my reflection is a book that our parish is reading by Matthew Kelly called I Heard God Laugh. And it offers a process of prayer, improving or enriching our prayer life that's really influenced my prayer life. And it influenced the way that I read the scriptures for this coming Sunday. Let me begin by saying during Lent, we're offered this time to come back to God, to delve back into make a serious effort to improve our prayer life. It's difficult when life gets in the way, and it happens to all of us. It's just a fact. The enticements of commercials and advertising hit us and bombard us from every direction. They increase our impulses towards greed, the promises of a better life, of comfort, of just following all of your pleasures. And that's not really what our God-given life is all about. For instance, in our story today, these stories are big decisions. These are big life-changing events that happen to the people in our stories. God means business here. But this is Lent business. We need to pay attention. This is not for the faint of heart. This is life and death. When we look at the story of Abraham and Isaac to begin with, I'm perplexed a little bit. Why doesn't Isaac say, wait a second, God, I don't want to do what you're asking me to do. I need to think about this. I need to talk to Sarah about this. I'm not sure I want to give you my son. This is his lifeblood. He's waited 100 years. He's 100 years old. He's waited all his life for this son. He's put everything he lived was up to this point. And God is asking him to give it to me. Kind of reflects the story of God and how he's given us his only son. Everything he had. The very essence of God in his son, given up for us. Now, a Holocaust offering, which is what Abraham is going to give, is a sacrifice of thanksgiving for everything that God has given to Abraham in his life. And Abraham's had a long history with God, of God giving him things and God being in his life. He has plenty to be thankful for. What are we thankful for? Can we think of how God has transformed our lives to this point? How did we get to where we are today? It was with God's help. So when that spirit of thanksgiving, how does that affect your thoughts about your Lenten sacrifice? Your whole life, you're thankful for God, for your whole life. Kind of makes our small attempts at sacrifice a paltry in comparison. But God's given us a promise. And this promise shines through in the story of Abraham and Isaac, just as it did with Noah and his sons, and when they had and family that had to give up everything. That the more we trust God and entrust God with our lives, the more reward God will grace us with. So for Abraham was rewarded because he was given a promise that his descendants would be as numerous as the stars. As numerous as the stars. Now, he's not going to be around to see that. But what that means to me today is that I am a descendant also of Abraham. And God's entrusting Abraham with the essence of his life, the whole essence of his life in faith, has been handed down to me and entrusted to me so that I can go forward in my life and have that same essence of God in my actions. That whole essence of God, it's so nebulous. But it comes to the fore, right, in the story of the Transfiguration. It's like being in an IMAX theater. Here is this wonderful view of Jesus on the mountain in these urethral clouds just glowing and shimmering. And here is the visions, the vision of Elijah, who was the first messenger that there was going to be a Messiah, a messenger from the beginning of our story of faith. And the Moses, the bearer of the Ten Commandments, the other Old Testament figure and father figure. And the disciples see Jesus and Elijah and Moses together and say, here's our whole faith from beginning to end. Everything we ever came to believe is right here. This is unbelievable. And then they hear the voice of God saying that Jesus, here's my only son. Listen to him. They're trembling. They've had to have been trembling. This is a miracle. It's so overwhelming. They just say, well, I just want to stay here. The essence of God was with them. The very essence, the very lifeblood of God was with them. And they wanted to capture it. They wanted to stay there. However, Jesus turns the tables and says, no, come on, guys, we've got to go. We're not going to talk about this. It's still a mystery that's unraveling. And we're going to leave here and let this work on us. Let's take this essence of God out into our regular lives and see where it leads. Can we do that? Can we be the bearer of the essence of God? Can we take that to our prayer and say, where is the essence of God in me today, and how is that going to get lived out? I want to change course here just a little bit. Both Abraham and Jesus went to mountains. They went to high places. They went intentionally to pray with God. This time was set aside for their sacrifice and for their prayer. In biblical talk, high places, mountains and deserts, the seas, places set apart, places out in the wilds where we're more vulnerable and we're closer to God. They're places for visions to take place. They're places where our hearts are more open and we can kind of shed our daily cares. As a matter of fact, in the Yale School of Environment, they've quantified our need for the outdoors and what's called a nature deficit disorder, that we need 120 minutes a week of outdoor time to reset our human clock, to improve our immune system, which they've been telling us to do all during COVID. Get outside, get outside. It lowers our blood pressure, improves your mood. It has many, many benefits to the human body to be outdoors. The body, the heart, the soul, our whole mind, to become more human. to become what God wanted us to be and to shine his essence forth. Now, you might not be able to go to a mountain, climb Bristol Mountain or Mount Marcy. You might not be able to go out on the ocean or to one of our lakes. You might be able to go for a park. You might be able to just go out for a walk in your neighborhood. But make it intentional. Even the intentional space in your house where you go for prayer. This intentional setting aside time for God in prayer is one of the hallmarks of a good prayer life. And to keep at it and to keep showing up. I hope your Lent is blessed, and may God keep us all safe and healthy. Amen.